The Tao of Self-Confidence, episode 791. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women who have discovered their inner journey to self-confidence. Visit our website at thetaoofselfconfidence.com. Your inner journey to self-confidence awaits. Well, hello friend. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women who have discovered their inner journey to self-confidence. I'm your host today, Sheena Yap Chan, and today I have a phenomenal lady on the show today. She is Malaysia's #1 tarot reader, and I'm really excited to have her on and share her story with us today on self-confidence. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Sarah May Low. Sarah, how are you today? Maybe you can fill in a little bit more about yourself to the listeners.
Hi, Sheena. Thank you so much for having me on your podcast show. This is quite exciting because it's like my first time doing a podcast interview. Usually it's for the other medias in Malaysia, usually it's an in-person interview, especially because they want me to also demonstrate like my tarot reading skills. But just a short bio about me. I'm tarot reading for the past about 6 years. But prior to actually starting my business officially, I was working in advertising for 10 years. So I was based in Vietnam. I was heading a media agency over there. And I decided to move back early this year in January to start my tarot reading business and also to pursue my PhD in human communications.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And Sarah, what's your cultural background?
Okay, so I'm Chinese descent. I think just like you're Chinese descent also, right? But I'm of Malaysian nationality. So my dad's side of the family is Hokkien Chinese, but my mom's side of the family is Cantonese. So I speak Cantonese and Mandarin, but unfortunately I cannot speak Hokkien.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And what'd be your favorite self-confidence quote?
My favorite confidence quote is, I always believe in holding my head up high because the only time I would ever bend down low is when I do the limbo.
Thanks for sharing that great quote. And I truly love that because as women too, we feel like we always have our heads down because we're not good enough, or we feel like we're never good enough or we're not worthy. But, the more we hold our head up high, we can have that confidence that we're invincible and we can, take on any challenges. So thanks for sharing that. Own words, how do you define self-confidence?
I think most women, especially like my lady clients and also my lady friends, most women will arrive at a stage of their life, at a point of their life where they, have a moment where they finally tell themselves, it's like, pardon my French, like, I don't give a fuck anymore. And to me, I believe that is real power. So some of my clients, they reach a point of their life when they are in their 40s or 50s, and some of them maybe even earlier in their 30s, they're like, I don't care anymore. I'm just going to do me and, be myself and do pursue my dreams and go after what I want. I don't want to care what people think of me. So yeah, I find that that's real power.
Thanks for sharing that great definition. And Sarah, what was your life like before you discovered self-confidence?
I find that I think I was a really confident child and also a confident teenager. But I realized that all this while, even though I portray as someone who was really, really confident, but it was really just an act. When my father passed away about 2 years ago, at that point of time, I started to question myself, why am I doing the things I do? I've always been a high achiever in school. I've been really, really good in my career. But why did I do the things that I do? So when my dad passed away, it was one of the saddest moments of my life and definitely, the breaking point of my life. But I find that, sometimes you really have to break down in order to have a breakthrough in your life. So every day, I would constantly ask myself, okay, why am I doing this? Does this make me happy? So I find that even though all this while, my entire life, I've been portraying myself as someone who has self-confidence, but I truly discovered self-confidence just fairly recently, about 2-3 years ago.
Thanks for sharing that. And I think, I know it's unfortunate that your dad passed away. And sometimes we have to break down to get that breakthrough. Things happen for a reason, right? And sometimes we won't know why they happen, why they happen. And, we won't know until we have that breakthrough, right? When we have that breakthrough, we realize, sometimes things just had to happen so that we can become stronger and become better. And especially, you being a tarot reader, I know it's not something that's typical, especially in Chinese culture, right? Most Chinese families want us to be a doctor or a lawyer or do something that's the traditional path. What was that moment in your life when you realized you can go out there and, create a career that's totally like out of the path?
So I was just actually posting this on like IG stories, on Instagram story just now. I posted this. So one thing I'm really, really grateful is that, yes, in typical Asian culture, most parents would want you to have like a professional kind of career, either a doctor or an engineer or, an accountant. But I am really, really lucky. My parents are somewhat westernized. So they have always been really, really supportive of what I do. Even at a young age, they really encourage me to explore different types of extracurricular activities like ballet, music. I used to sing. I even used to sing opera. So yeah, I find that one thing I'm really, really grateful is that my parents, they are not like the traditional Asian kind of parents. So they have been really, really supportive. And very, very strangely, before my dad passed away, 3 days before my dad passed away, I was about to move to Vietnam to start a media agency over there. So I actually asked for his forgiveness because I think I have, as a Chinese daughter, as a Asian daughter, I've done my best. I've always had good grades. I'm good in my career. But one thing I asked for his forgiveness was because, I'm not married. So right now I'm in my 30s, but at that point of time I was in my late 20s. So I actually asked for his forgiveness. And what he told me was, at the end of the day, I don't want to see you making mistakes, when like your cousins. So some of my cousins, they got married really young, but they are divorced right now. So what he told me was that, at the end of the day, what I really want you to do is to be happy. So because of that message that he gave me like 3 days before he died, that is why I every day I live life, thinking it's like, okay, does this make me happy? Am I helping people? Am I helping society? So that is why I find that why I decided to do what I do right now is because I find that I have the power, I'm not going to waste this talent. I'm not going to waste time, continue to work in corporate, even though I was earning like shitloads of money. But yeah, so I find that, this is my gift and I can help people around me. So why not?
Thanks for sharing that. And I think that's great, that you're able to do what makes you happy, right? Because it's really rare for people out there to do something that makes them happy. Some of them are in a job that they hate. Like you mentioned, got married early and are in a marriage where they feel like they're controlled by the spouse and they can't, they just feel trapped, right? And, it happens every day. And we just have to realize, when we can do something that makes us truly happy, we're really free from, people's opinions, the box that we're kept in, the programs that we've been taught, and you can just do what you love to do. And because of that, what's your life been like now?
It's been really amazing. So exactly 1 year ago, I was in Vietnam. So I actually asked asked the universe, is this something that I'm meant to be doing, as in working in corporate? So it's so funny, just exactly 1 year ago, I asked the universe this, show me a sign if this is what I'm meant to be doing. If it is not, then show me the way, and I will actually follow the way that you want me to go. So 2 weeks after that, on December 4th, I actually completed a project with my former company, and then I asked myself what's next. So I was speaking to my mentor at that time. He was an American Chinese guy, and he told me, so the next project is in China, but what he told me was that, I don't think it's very, very safe for you, especially when the big part of the job requires you to entertain and to drink a lot. So he asked me, okay, so what do you want to do? At that moment, I think that was really the sign, I should go back to Malaysia. So it was really, really scary to leave corporate, exactly 1 year ago. But this year itself, the whole of 2019, it has been amazing. So I find that really, you just need to just let go and take that leap of faith and, just really trust in the universe. So some people may think it's like, oh, it's so cliche, law of attraction, but it really, really works. Just as long, as you really just follow the path, to really quiet your mind. Sometimes when you are really stressed out, when there's a lot of things going into your life, you cannot really hear that inner voice inside of you. So you really have to quiet your mind, and sometimes those voices and intuition would actually lead you to the right path.
Thanks for sharing that. And yeah, I know what you mean when you say it sounds cheesy to trust in the universe, but really, I always tell myself the universe has our back. The more we believe in that, the more, great things can come into our life, because there's just some things we can't explain, but we know it'll all work out in the end. So I really love that you mentioned that. And so thanks again for sharing that. And if our listeners wanted to get to know a little bit more about you and what you do and check out some of your work, is there any links or social media profiles we can connect with?
Yes, you can find me on Facebook. It's Sarah Maylow, SaraMaylow, and it's also Sarah Maylow on Instagram, and my website is www.sarahmaylow.com. So all my information is over there.
Thanks for sharing that. To our listeners, if you want to connect with Sarah, you can also head on over to the taoofselfconfidence.com and search for Sarah's name. Her show notes will pop up along with everything else that we talked about. And I really just want to thank Sarah today for taking the time to share her story and tips with us on self-confidence. So thank you so much, Sarah.
You're most welcome. My pleasure.
And to our listeners, be on the lookout for another new episode of another amazing woman's journey to self-confidence, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye for now. Thank you for tuning in to another amazing episode of the Tao of Self-Confidence. Get your free self-talk tape for building self-confidence by visiting our website at thetaoofselfconfidence.com. Your inner journey to self-confidence awaits.